Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I'm in my happy place and I am completely at sixes and sevens. I have so much going on in this head that I thought, well, let me take a deep breath and calm down and share what's been happening. I've been looking for things. Now, you know and I know when you look for things, you find other things. And those other things start the crackling and snapping in your head. I call that my muse. But let's just try to make some sense out of Carol's sixes and sevens today. Okay, my thought was, if I'm going to do, I am going to do some stitchery on here, just for fun. Well, I needed some fibers. I needed scissors. I needed needles, scissors, and a laying tool in case I need it. Those are necessaries. Well, it wasn't too hard to find those puppies. Then I thought, fibers. So I went into my stack that I keep in the hall closet of the things that I still have from my my stitchery eons. So this drawer got pulled. Now this I made in 2004 when I went to a seminar in Florida with the Embroiderers Guild, and I keep all of my things that I might need here. So that goes there. And then laying on top was this. I pulled this out of a Needle Pointers magazine that I've had for quite a while, because these are fun stitches. They look like a lot more than they are to do, and that was laying on top of the pile. So here, I'm going to put that on top of that pile, out of the way. This is the Naturals. This is the Naturals drawer. And I thought some of that might be quite nice to embellish there. But this is not going to be all about naturals. The cover and the inside covers probably will be, and the first page probably. But and I thought, look, it's pretty metallics. Well, a girl also needs to have a little greenery, so I got out the little greenery. Drawer, which is in a lot better condition than this one. I really am going to have to make a little rhyme and reason there. But so these two drawers came out rather easily. Those I'll set up here because it'll be a while till I get to the stitching. The only thought that I've had about this stitching is that I thought that this area might want something to give the impression of grasses or greenery. After that, I started finding things. Well, you know what that's like. I didn't share this the other day because I had other fish to fry. So, this is something I found 50% off at AC Moore. And Craft Geek, Trim It, etc. And at 50% off. And my husband was standing there telling me that you absolutely needed this. And I said, well, I might absolutely need it if you can absolutely figure out how to work it. So that worked rather well. As you can see, I have decal, which I thought would be nice for the edges of stamps. I have Victorian, I have scallops, colonials, squiggles, short weaves, fold and score. Well, let me see if I can't let you have a bit of a look. I did the edge of, I tried doing the edge of this just to show you. That's a Who knows which one that one is? maybe it's scalloped. But that's neither here nor there. I did practice, my husband practiced, and these are the, and this is what happens. And I thought, yes. It even does the dot where you can perforate, like in that. And this one I liked very much because it really is deckled looking. Let's get a little closer. That one kind of tickled me. This is a smaller, well, might be the same one. Oh, this is the nice scallop that I like. But then again, I'm not too sure. That might be a pretty decal too. And I'm a girl about a decal. So, I thought I would share these because there they are, waiting to be used. 50% off. Well, I thought, I think I've been a good girl lately. Let me get that out of harm's way. On the same day, at AC Moore, I'm going to absolutely need to keep those directions because if they get lost, I'm lost right with them. You out of here. You over here. Now, this was 50% off, and I said, now what is this? Let me have a gander at this. And this is this. And I thought, my, this is this. A pocket. Yes, a pocket. Well, I almost injured myself putting that in the basket. And I do believe they come with envelopes. Yes, they do. Envelopes also. And at 50% off, well, how could a person ignore that goodie? So I'm going to get rid of this packaging and keep your eye out. Doesn't have to be AC Moore, but I didn't realize, and because I was looking at other things and my eyes were going around like marbles, and I didn't realize we have that. And that, and this is a very interesting finish on this. Let me see if I can get really, really, really close. See that nice finish there? Yes. Pretty paper. Pretty paper. So that's going to go in my with my envelopes right now on top of the computer. You. Now, also, time between appointments, I had a little pop in here at Joanne, and I saw this, and I said, now what is this little tiny thing? And it dawned on me, vellum. And I'm quite a vellum liker. Now, I have the pad of regular paper for some of this, but some of this bits of vellum are just lovely, and I thought I would treat myself to that because in this case I had to purchase without being on sale. But pretty? Oh, I think so. But then Tim Holtz doesn't do much that isn't. So, breaking the rules, not on sale. However, I will not lose sleep now. While looking for some of the fibers for this project, I found something else that I thought I would share with you. But before, I'll give you a little end story on it. I gave up doing this sort of thing, and I have been trying through the time I've been stitching to try to get my doing some of my stitchery again. And it just took a lot of time. You have to be able to don't sit for an hour or more per sitting in order to get any kind of thing going here. So I thought I would share this with you and explain it. Okay, let me get our pretty out of the way. Right now this is upside down. This was a blank piece of my needlepoint canvas, and this was a flower that I found in my stash, watercolor flower that I had painted I don't know how long ago. And I said to myself, why can't you use this piece of watercolor that's yours as a focal and make a framed area around it? So it took much doing and wiggling and wormling. These are the original bits. These are the original bits from the original one, and I cut them down to use. And so that's the watercolor that was the basis of this. As you can see, I just did running stitches to show that that's where this is going to go. And then my point was to design in my head around here anything that might tickle me. I realized, I had an aha moment, and I realized that this flower is painted on watercolor through a stencil. I said, well, if this child can find that stencil, why can't I stencil on here? And the answer is, absolutely you can. So I used some of the colors, and I stenciled hither and yon around this, and I was kind of tickled with that. And I satin stitched to cover them, to bring up the colors. And then I said, what can we do here now? Well, if we put this here, we could make the rest of this, we could stitch the rest of that stem. That worked. And then I was getting kind of into the groove again, but realizing that this was kind of a time taker. I also wanted to get back to doing some of the things that I had done previously. This is silk ribbon that I watercolored on to make these flowers, and this is just satin stitch silk ribbon flowers. Some would have little beads on top, and I used some of my my pretty silk pieces of from my stash, the green box that I showed you. I found these things, and I was going right along, and let's see, I think the plan, I didn't remember, but I just took this out. It's been a while. I didn't remember, but I know that that's there and there. And then this, and I think this is here. And I think this bud is here. And I think this poor old, oh, thank God for Fabri-Tac, it's going to need it because this is all over the place. And I think this I had here. That's this flat side, flattish. It has to be that way, Carol. See what happens when you don't do something for almost a year? Okay, so I think that was the plan. And I thought to myself after our chat yesterday, well, you're going to have time now, Carol. There are going to be times when you're not going to be doing too much other than sitting, contemplating, and resting. And I thought, well, now what is more restful than stitchery? So I'm going to go back. I had put things that I picked away. You know, me and my little trays. I put things that I picked to use, different sorts of the greens and some metallics and some silk bits and and a little bit of different kinds of gold and so forth. And here it was. And I'm thinking that this might see some more work. I'm going to utilize the situation that I'm in and go back to this a little bit. I'm working on this as background. This is absolutely mind-bogglingly easy. All you do is do over 2, make a checkerboard over 2. Nothing special there. But, as you can see, it does make an attractive background. And I have this silk that I'm using. It's variegated. And if nothing, I'm going to do that because I won't be brain bending too much. Well, I'm sorry. I hope some of you who are not too disinterested in stitchery have fast forwarded. But I thought you might enjoy seeing some of my busy work is utilized again. Now, back here. You and all of you guys are over here. You are over here for a while. And now let's get to it. I'm thinking I want this here to open it because I think she talks to me, and I might talk to her for a while. I really might. And I also decided, after watching Nick the Booksmith talk about Commonplace books, I've decided that not only is this going to be a glue book, but it's going to be a commonplace book, which she defined as writings, things that you might copy from elsewhere or some of your original writings. And I thought that before putting this down, I might do some writings of things I'm feeling and thinking, and therefore they can just be under there, and then other things, there'll be room for other things to be added. So I think that's what's going to happen. She is just so pretty that I'm going to take up so much of this page with her and be happy to do it. It should not pose too much of a problem because if you'll remember, we have 3 pages stuck together, so I can write and glue her down and then maybe make some pretties. But before we get to that, I've got this and this to do. So that's my plan for today. Let's start by getting my book bone. And my waxed paper to keep that. Now, of course, let's have a little gesso and a card. Oops, out of here, girl. Safe and sound. Okay. Now, I want to get some of this gessoed before I decide what exactly it is that I want there. So, oh my, we need more than that. Yes, that will not do. That will not do. Okay. And I shall try to be a little bit careful with that. Not overly. I do hope that you're enjoying the beginning of your week. I've been on, as you can see, I've been on voyages of discovery this morning. And I have to be honest, it's been rather fun, and I'm really thinking that I just might enjoy getting back to that brainstorm piece of stitchery. And this is not going to cover that easily. Maybe. But maybe it's going to either take more than one layer or a darker color. We might just have to consider that as an option. Well, that's doing a little better, isn't it? Well, while that's drying, I'm thinking let's have a look and see what I might want there. Maybe a bit of this antique paper. And this just seems to make me so happy. Two things that I just love. Might be pretty. Or this. No, so far this. Anything else here? No, I'm going to, while that's drying, I'm going to get these bits ready. And do a little housekeeping. I'm going to put some white gesso on the inside of the back cover. And when I come back, we will see what it is that we're going to do with these covers. Well, this is Carol's Happy Place glue book. Commonplace Happy Place glue book. So I'm going to use my favorite stuff just because it makes me happy all over. And I'm going to use a little old parchment, Ceram coat, and an absolute favorite stencil. I mean, This probably is the one that I would grab if the house were burning. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And a little bit here, and a little bit there. Not looking for the perfectionist bell, for my perfectionist bell to ring, and if it does, that's okay too. There. Let's see what else we can do here now. Maybe a little smidge right down there. Maybe a little smidge right down there. There's that smidge word again. Promise I'll try to banish it. There we go. That's enough. And, of course, some here. Here. This probably will be mostly covered up. Let's put a bit more down here. Just a hint. Just the tiniest hint. This will probably be covered up with the girl. There we go. And wet paint out of harm's way. This now, I'm thinking some of that antique paper. Now this is going to just be all over the place and annoy me, but that's allowed. And what else here? And what else here? I don't think I can manage to do this without a little bit of coffee stained lace. Just that much, or a lot less. Now, what do we want here? Just a little there. And just a little here. Goodness, these are old and crisp. So nice. But this and this, because there's something about those two that just warm my heart. Just the tiniest bit there. Up here, maybe. Well, might as well not have any music there if I'm going to do it that way. That's a little better. Yes. It's just the inside cover. This is just. These make you happy and you love all of these. Good. Now, where is she? There she is. I'm covering her garment, but I don't want to lose one bit of those wings. I have to have a think. I have to decide whether or not I'm leaning towards fussy cutting. Yes, I am. I'm leaning towards fussy cutting. And that will give me this place down here to write or to make doodles or whatever. And yet there is some rhyme or reason between the two pages. Just this like that. Lunchtime, and when I do my best having a think, of course I will probably watch a video. I'm a little bit behind on Gail Augustinelli, so I think she's going to join me for lunch. I'll be back shortly. Well, I've had a nice think, and I've used my new contraption to make the edges interesting here. And I've also written to my mother, asking for her to keep an eye on me, and some personal thoughts that we always shared because we were the best of friends. And so I've also decided that I'm just going to put a little bit of glue up here and a little bit down here, and maybe just a little tiny bit here, because when this book is over, I might want to review what I said on the first day of this book. So let me get the little bit of glue here. And down here at the bottom. And maybe just a little bit here and here. Good. So let's find the spot that I picked out. We'll go right there. Here, here, and here. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this antique ledger down there, because I do love it, and I have been I've had it for quite a while, and thought it was ready to be torn, because the entire book is full. And I think I'll leave just the tiniest bit of the edge here, and maybe a little bit here, because I like the date. I hope that I can get this picked up a little bit. Yes. Alrighty. And these lines are going to come in very handy. So that will be the start on that page. And then I'm going to take some time to glue these down, because I have a plan for a little bit more play. Well, here we are, ready for show and tell. Let me have room to open this and share with you. I took the liberty of playing in my book, just because it's what I like to do. And so, of course, there's a little bit of stenciling and a little bit of stamping, and this is my very favorite stamp and my very favorite color. And my note to look at in the future. But right now, Anna is my grandmother, and Dorothy is my mother. Your life is what you make it. Those were the words from those ladies all the time. So, I've got my two favorite bits here. And in the back, I used the rest of the paper here for a tuck spot, and just two pieces of collage, and my favorite stamp again. So, the next time I will be going to the back of this page, I should imagine, and I do hope that you have enjoyed what I decided to do on the inside of this journal. It's going to be chronicling my year ahead, and giving me much joy, and I hope you will enjoy the sharing it with me. And if you have, I would appreciate a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Let's have a close-up look at this loveliness. Thank you so much. I'll be seeing you soon.